So hi, my name's Linda Beale. I'm the group lead for location analytics, and I'd like to talk to you about insights today. So for those of you who don't know about insights, I'm going to start with a very quick introduction before we have a look at the capabilities and the new features. So ArcGIS Insights is specifically designed for analytics in the cloud. You can bring in data from multiple different sources. It uses geovisual analytics, so all the analysis will immediately display, so it's easy to understand. The steps of your analysis are automatically recorded, and it builds that reusable model as you're doing your analysis. Your analysis can easily be shared, other people can interact with it, and you can even allow them to download images and data. So you ask questions of your data, and you can drag and drop any of the data or the fields in order to do that analysis. So if we take a look at these invasive species, and we want to select those out for just the areas of the Great Lakes, we can select out those areas just by dragging that data set. So what I've done here is I've joined the two data sets together, and I've taken the Great Lakes and the invasive species and joined them into one data set. We could also run standard tools such as k-means clusters to pick out any patterns that there might be within those invasive species. And creating these visuals is as simple as dragging the information that you want to look at, such as the name of the lake and the invasive species that we have, and Insights will automatically calculate that number of species that we have within that lake. But if you want to see the pattern overall, you can quickly switch that to something like a tree map. Now you can immediately pick out that pattern, and interactivity is automatically built into Insights, so you can view multiple pieces of information and start to use your skill and knowledge to interpret the data. So we could also change this to something like a link chart to understand the associations. Now, this isn't just a simple visualization. What we've done behind the scenes is we've built a triple store with the data. We've calculated all of the counts that we have between these variables. So it's a new type of analysis that we're doing, and we give you all of those results in a way that you can interpret it. Now with that interactivity, we can filter out, for example, just for this one lake, we can filter out the number of all of those invasive species and see those interactions between those different locations. We've also introduced a new reference table, so you can start to explore that. So moving towards regression analysis and predictions, being able to visualize this can make this more complex type of analysis very easy to understand. You can see the correlations, you can understand the strength of the variables, and also how much uncertainty is associated with any of the variables that you've used within your regression analysis. You can directly connect to Python and R to extend the analysis, and in using that, you can either bring in your own scripts or you can script directly within Insights itself. You can drag and drop any of the data sets directly from the data pane into your script and bring them back into Insights using this magic command, which will bring it back into this data pane. So in this example here, I've taken the tracks of the vessels, I've converted them to points, and I've compared that with the density of the invasive species to find those locations where there are more invasive species than we would expect. Finally, more recently, we've spent a little bit of time on temporal analysis, and here we're looking at 5 years worth of data of severe wind events. And this is across the US. And we can see this 5-year pattern in the temporal, in the timeline here, but it's quite hard to understand whether the number of events have increased over time. We can use something called temporal decomposition and even break that out into the magnitude. And I'm also going to forecast for 2 years ahead. And what we're going to see now is the seasonal patterns within that data shown on that top line. We're seeing the trend in the magnitude, which we see decrease between 2017 and 2018, but more recently, that's been increasing a lot. We also see the remainder, the outliers. So those are the events that are unexplained, the unexpected events, and we can see exactly when those were. And forecasting 2 years ahead, we can see what that pattern would be expected of the magnitude together with any prediction intervals that we have in there. Remember that Insights has been recording all of the analysis that we're doing and sharing that out, or the page is as simple as clicking on share, and you can share that page, that model. You can allow people to see the data and download the data and also images. So if you haven't already explored Insights, I encourage you to take a look at it, and we would love to hear about the different ways in which you're using it. Thank you.